About Billie Joe, the Green Day, 99 Revolutions Tour here in Europe. No Trump, no KKK, no Fascist USA. I'm not part of the redneck agenda, or also I'm not part of the MAGA agenda. Wonderful, wonderful concert. I will put the link in bio at the iHeart LA stadium, Alter Ego Stadium, on the January 17, right? 2026. Wonderful, wonderful concert. And really shout out to you to speak out, because there are not so many people who are speaking out against what the hell is going on. We're watching from Europe what the hell is going on in America. And me personally, I'm very extremely sad, because American brothers, you should go back to the books of history explaining you what happened in here in the 30s and in the 40s, when a police called Gestapo, Gestapo, and the SS were doing exactly what I'm seeing now in your country. It was exactly the same tactic, with the difference that the Nazi were not covered. They were not covered. They were not wearing this mask, this cover up. They're all covered. So basically, I mean, this is also dangerous, because you can copy the logo and you can go around like one of these guys. At least the Nazi were with the without masks. And I mean, I would not really like to compliment the Nazi, because the Nazis were really bad. You know, my grandfather, he used to fight in Italy against these fascists. But these are not fascists, these are real Nazi, because these are supposed to be policemen? Who are training them? Who shot in the face of a woman who's just going home 3 times? Rene Good was shot in the face 3 times. We saw the videos. You don't lie, because we have the original videos. This fake narrative is ridiculous. We saw the video of what you've done to Alex Bretty. Was just, there was a telephone. He had a phone. Isn't it horrible? And he was shot 10 times. A nurse. There was no gun. It was his telephone. What is more disgusting is the lies, the fake narrative. But this is exactly like the Nazi used to do. This is a fake narrative, because it also started with the propaganda here in Europe. They were saying that the Jews were, you cannot really talk on this platform, but the propaganda started by the Nazi was exactly the same one. They chose an enemy, right? Could be the Jews, could be during Second World War, could be now the migrants, but these were just an excuse for Hitler, This is nothing, what you're seeing now in the States, this has nothing to do with the immigration. This is just a first attempt to cancel your freedom of speech in any way, shape, or form. This was a first attempt to see how much the frog has been boiled. Because if they would have not encountered real men, real humans like Jacob Frey, the mayor of Minneapolis, who said, we're not respecting the laws in here, the federal laws, no. He said this to Trump. if they wouldn't have met people like Tim Walz, right? He should be your next president, really. Chapeau to these two heroes, the mayor of Minneapolis, this guy, and Tim Walz. They said, no, I'm calling the federal guard to defend my own citizen. And I'm not respecting the law, because you don't always have to follow the rules. These two heroes here, they did not respect the rule. And when you don't respect the rule, it's there that you save lives, right? So it's not always good to respect the rules. And history is full of people who did not respect the rules, like you see now, because he did not agree with Trump, no? So this is a clear first attempt to attack the swing states in a fascist way, to let them obey with the use of the force. This is a Gestapo tactic. This is exactly what the fascists, the Nazi, used to do in Europe. So all Americans should be concerned, because this has nothing to do with immigration. They will start, this was a first attempt to see how boiled we are. But not all the frogs are boiled, right? But they will try again. So Americans should be united coast to coast, from the San Francisco Bay to New York, to the islands, to Hawaii, to Alaska. They should all be united against this, because this has nothing to do with the right, with the left, with the Republican, with the Democrat. This has to do with your freedom of speech, with your First Amendment. They will always try, because you see, all our governments, they are not the ones who are ruling the world, right? I cannot go into many details, because otherwise the algorithm will not like me. But you see, the world is ruled by 10 people, very smart ones, but you don't see them. You see these puppets, right, everywhere. And they will always try. They always try. There was an Italian philosopher, Vico, and he used to say that history is a cycle of repetition, right? History will always repeat itself. You're seeing now here in Europe, we had a few decades of peace, but now the cycle will be interrupted, basically. But it's the same everywhere in the world. So that's why it's very important that people speak out, because like a writer used to say, when they're coming to take the Jews, there was nobody to stop them. When they were coming to take the Hispanic, there were nobody to stop them. When they were coming to take the Hispanic, there were nobody to stop them. And then when they're coming to take you, there will be nobody anymore. So if you don't speak out, especially those who have a platform, those who have an important audience, then it will be shame on you, because this will not be stopped in Minneapolis, in Minnesota. This is an attack. It's a global attack. It's a coup to cancel any freedom of speech. But it's very easy, to say no. And I really shout out to Billie Joe, to Bruce Springsteen, but also to Jimmy Kimmel, to Steve Colbert. I will put in the link in bio of the excellent speech they did, I think 1 or 2 days ago. Wonderful. Well, Jimmy Kimmel, I think, was really magnificent in what he said, and he was really moved by what happened. And also to Tim Dillon. Really, shout out to Tim Dillon. It's really, I will also put the link in bio of his latest podcast, really. You have to speak out. Because if you don't do it now, and there will be nobody there left to defend you. It's important, of course, to speak out, but it's important to act. Words only are not sufficient anymore, because this is much worse than the 70s, the 60s. What is happening now, it's more subtle and more dangerous. So it's very good that I really appreciated what Jane Fonda said, and but there will have to be, I think she created now a movement, right? Freedom, something. I mean, she's 80 something and she's speaking out. She's trying to do something again because she knows what's happening in America. She lived that before. You see, you have to do things. You have, like Billie Joe. Billie Joe changed the lyric of his song to wake up people. Bruce Springsteen has done this wonderful song. I will put the link in bio for the people of Minneapolis. If you have a platform, you have to speak out. You have to do something, because they will not stop here. This was just an attempt who was stopped thanks to the mayor of Minneapolis and Mr. Valls. But they will try again, not only in these states, right? So you have to do something. For instance, boycotting the Super Bowl. If he's so unhappy about the Green Day going there, or Bad Bunny, who is Puerto Rican, so he's American. I mean, Puerto Rico is United States of American territory, not because I heard yesterday some YouTubers, right, MAGA, left, I mean, yeah, right, sides, right, I mean, they didn't know that Puerto Rico is United States of America. I mean, go back and study. These blonde YouTubers, MAGA support, go back and study. We understood you are on the side of Trump, the right movement, but if you don't know that Puerto Rico is United States of America, then you shut out before talking, right? So go back and study. Geography, history, it's very useful these days, you see. So shout out to Bruce Springsteen, to Billie Joe, to Kimmel, to all this late show who are talking about this, and start boycotting these events. If he doesn't want to come to the Super Bowl because he doesn't like who is having the halftime, then don't come. You won't be missed. I mean, if the World Cup 2026 will be in the United States, don't go. Don't buy the ticket. Just leave the stadium empty. Like apparently was done for the movie of the First Lady. There was nobody in New York at the premiere. So just boycotting is a huge tool. So just don't attempt. I really hope that the NFL will not change the agenda of the Super Bowl. I think it's February 8th, right? We'll be watching this from Europe, because otherwise it will be really ridiculous. So Americans should really start acting, do something from coast to coast, because this is not ending here. This is just the beginning of a new fascism, which will be global. So we are not all boiled. We are not all boiled frogs. So be aware of what's going on and act. Thank you. Bye-bye.